A very good evening and welcome to A Date with a Dinner Set programme 232 on December the 29th. I know, Jean, nearly 2025. You are especially welcome. Good evening, Jeannie and Martin. How lovely to see you. You are more than welcome because it's got to the 29th of December, and in fact, this is the first time in December, and indeed the last time in 2024, that we have been live, truly live, on the correct day at the correct time. So it's just the way it is. But you are most welcome. What can we say to that, brother? No, I think is the only answer. It was a bit of an obscure one, but hang in there with me. It was actually the theme music to the Avengers series, which started in 1961, and it went all the way through to well into the 1970s, and then of course there was the new Avengers, and that was a lovely bit of music which was composed by Laurie Johnson. So more about him in a minute. But you might remember these iconic titles, the Avengers, of course, which starred Patrick McNee. There he is, Dapper Chapper. And a few years later was joined by Diana Rigg. So these were the opening titles, I'd say around about 1966, 1967 for those. So as I say, composed by Laurie Johnson. And Laurie Johnson also composed the music to The Professionals, to lots of other things, film music, the theme music to This Is Your Life, to the theme music to The Professionals, blah, 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 blah. So that was our opening one this evening. We always have a bit of TV or film music to open, just a little quick 30 seconds to get us into the swing of things. And so far, I believe we haven't repeated anything. I'm still trawling away for the good old themes to choose. Anyway, here we are. You will see that we still have snow. It is that freezing fog which has been around, which has meant that the snow is still with us. I have a feeling there may be a substantial thaw before the new year. Who knows? We will find out, won't we, next week. Anyway, I do hope you will enjoy this evening's highly varied programme, which takes us all the way back into the 19th century, which is even before my brother's time. But there is quite a mixture this evening. A lot of things we haven't had for some time. And somewhere amongst it will be something new, of course. If you're live with us in the chat room and you want to chat away about the music, the composer, the context, how Christmas was for you, and how many more thousand mince pies you think you can eat before the end of the year, that sort of thing, then do chat away. And I will talk to you in between, along with little snippets. We'll have some coffee. We need it for this first one. Do enjoy the programme. Hello, Marion and Ron and anyone else who's there with you. Very good to see you. Fantastic. Yes, I'm saying yes to my brother Mark on 2 counts. Let's deal with the second one first. About it being Vegas. Well, the reason for that Vegas loop there, the actual title of that piece was Las Vegas. Las Vegas is the title of that piece. It was a piece of KPM, Keith Prowse music, library music, which was composed in the 1960s. The connection to it is it was composed by Mr. Laurie Johnson. He composed hundreds of pieces of library music, some of which were taken up by TV series. And that one is a very famous one, and a very, very catchy little earworm as well. It was the theme music to Animal Magic. So well done again, dear brother, for that one. Animal Magic, which first started running in 1962 and ran, I believe, all the way through to 1981 with on the face of it, very chirpy chappy Johnny Morris as its presenter all that time. So that was our opening one. So a few connections going on. There, obviously, Laurie Johnson composed the Avengers theme, which we had as our opening. And before Laurie Johnson's TV music to the Avengers, the original Avengers theme was composed by Johnny Dankworth, who we featured last week on the programme, who composed Tomorrow's World. I know, isn't it clever how it all connects? It's amazing, absolutely amazing. As always, if you like what you are seeing and hearing, then do press that thumbs up button. If you are not subscribed to the channel and you would like to be, of course it is free, it's YouTube. It is the likes and the comments that help our channel to get awareness and to push up the algorithm. We need likes and lots of comments. So I'm calling out to all my subscribers out there. Give us a thumbs up occasionally or a comment. Obviously, live chat room. I'm not talking to you because you're brilliant. You're just here every week, aren't you? And you do exactly what you say on the tin. Anyway, we'll have some more coffee and we'll go on with the next piece of music. Incidentally, if you are going to be singing along to this next one, good heavens, what lovely paper clips, brother. I'm very excited by those. Thank you. If you want to sing along to this next one and you feel uncomfortable because it's the 29th of December, you can, at appropriate times, insert the word TWIXTMAS, and it will sort of fit, okay? Simply having, indeed. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time or a wonderful TWIXTMAS time. If you think, well, we've done Christmas, it's for 29th. But the reason for including that, I was in the car yesterday and I'd been playing some stuff on YouTube and I'd sort of let it run on and that came on. I thought, you know, I've never played that on the programme in 232 programmes, so I thought we'd had that today. So that was indeed from 1979, wonderful Christmas Time, composed by Mr. Paul McCartney, and there is the disc on the right. And I think Paul McCartney actually wins a prize there for how many times he can get his name onto the middle of a 45. A very successful song, that Wonderful Christmas Time. It's one of those that sort of went worldwide, a global hit, sort of recognised everywhere. It has the iconic sleigh bells going through it. It has a Christmas sound to it. According to the great Wikipedia in the sky, or the cloud as it were, as of 2010, it's estimated that Paul McCartney receives some $400,000 a year in royalties for that song. The mind boggles, doesn't it? But it is one of those earworms that is, you know, incredibly memorable and recognisable. And while we still have the decorations up, you know, some of us have kept our decorations up. I'm looking at you, Mark and Judy, after, you know, that wonderful display that you put on. I'm disappointed they've started to come down. On the other hand, I can quite appreciate it will take 6 months to take them down. Why not start now? Absolutely. So whilst we're talking still about Christmas, the upload on the channel for nearly pressed a really bad button then. Well, not really bad, but the wrong one. You know what I mean? The upload this week was A Little Town of Bethlehem. And I put this one up because it was recorded live at the carol service for which I was playing last Sunday when I couldn't be with you live. So thanks to Director of Music Jason Edge and the choir of St Matthew's Surbiton, O Little Town of Bethlehem is on the channel. It's one of those carols that's so beautiful in its poetry that it deserves an airing whatever time of year. So that is there. That was the upload. It went up on Friday, so you can have a look at that if you so wish. As always, there is a direct link beneath this video. It will take you there instantly should you wish to sing along with that one. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we will go on to our next song, which we haven't had for over a year. I'm surprised about that. We used to have this very, very often. I know, that makes you think, doesn't it? It's just staggering the amount of money and listens that these very popular Christmas songs get. Hey, a man can dream, hey? Right, on with our next song. Do enjoy. Hello, Maggie and Jerry, and possibly Amy and Ollie as well. Very good to see you. Do you mean, by any chance, Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street? Because it is very like some of the music from that. The Demon Barber of Fleet Street was composed by Stephen Sondheim. Whereas what we've just heard, as Hannah identified, was indeed from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory from 1971, that amazingly iconic film starring Gene Wilder with music by Leslie Bricusse, very prolific composer and highly skilled lyricist who also composed the music to Dr. Dolittle. And the musical Scrooge, we featured that only last week. He also composed the lyrics to the James Bond song Goldfinger, amongst many, many other things. Quite an amazing man and quite a lovely, lovely man as well. Alison, I've just read your comment. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? We have all this. There's all this sweet stuff around. These mountains of sweet stuff we have around, and yet we all get to that stage where we're just sort of craving something that's not sweet, something that is savoury, something fresh, lemony. I'm feeling lemon. That's what I'm feeling. Anyway, Pure Imagination from 1971 is what that was. So I hope you saw the exciting news yesterday about the NASA solar probe. I saw that headline, NASA solar probe is safe. And I thought, oh, jolly good, jolly good. And I thought, yeah, okay, it's got close to the sun. And then I started to look at some of the statistics involved with it. And it's quite mind-boggling just how close it got to the sun without burning up. And what an achievement to happen right at the end of the year. It's always nice, isn't it, when amongst all the horrible things that we see happening in the news, that at the end of the year there is some good news going on as well. Something gentle again now, which will be known to many of you. I do hope you will enjoy. Gosh, you were all very chatty during that one. You're all correct, absolutely correct. I'm salivating about those olive pinwheels, actually. They sound rather nice. But that was indeed the chorus known as the Shepherd's Farewell from the oratorio L'Enfance du Christ by Hector Berlioz, which was composed in 1953. And that is a very, very famous bit of music, a wonderfully atmospheric bit of music to have around Christmas time. Maggie, I sort of vaguely remember when I played that a few years ago that you and Jerry very much enjoy that. So that was very, very fortuitous that we had that. Bread with olive oil in... Ooh, that sounds lovely. Can you send some of that over, please, from Portugal? I'll give you my address. I'm sure it will travel well. Yeah, so the Shepherd's Farewell from 1853. 1853. 1853. Did I say 1953? I don't know what I'm talking about. It's people when people talk about food, my mind goes haywire. Sorry about that. Yes, very calming. Almost about, I need to wake up now. I need to wake up and I've run out of coffee. Never mind. Right, before the next one. So today, the 29th of... let's not press that one. Today, the 29th, is National TikTok Day. No, not that TikTok, not the social media TikTok. It's thus called because we are very aware, aren't we, in this period of the passing of time. And gosh, it's nearly the end of the year, as somebody already has commented in the chat room. And National TikTok Day, invented across the pond, just to remind us, just to nag us that we only have a few days left to do all those things that we said we would achieve in the year before the new one starts. I have quite a list, and I suspect that what will happen with my list is that I will reprint the list without some of the things on it, because realistically that's not going to happen, because I've got some work coming on. I may do some of it. I might have my annual bath, or perhaps do the washing, that sort of thing. But we certainly won't get everything done. But National TikTok Day is what it is today. The clock is ticking towards the end of the year. What's happened? What's happened, Maggie? Well, where should we go back to? I'm pressing buttons all over the place. And some of them are correct, but not all of them, it has to be said. Let's go on with our next bit of music. That is the safest thing to do. These are the buttons that usually I get right. Usually. Well, recognisable anyway. Canada. How fantastic. Good evening. How wonderful to see you. It's no good me saying anything, Maggie, because if you can't hear me, then no point. But I would, yes, it would appear that all things, according to my sort of little bar charts and things, everything's going okay. Yeah, it is quite a sad one, Alison, that, isn't it? Happy Christmas. War is over. From 1971. Composed by John Lennon, but credited to John and Yoko and the Plastic Ono Band. Yup. So from 1971, that was obviously their protest song about the Vietnam War. It could apply at any point, of course. And as Marion has poignantly said, if only, if only. But I think it's rather a nice, reflective one to have at Christmas time especially. So from 1971, Happy Christmas, War is Over by John Lennon. That did pretty well. It reached number 4 in the UK on its first outing in 1972 when we got it. And when John Lennon was tragically murdered, it got to number 2. It's one of those that is always around, a very beautiful sort of Christmas time song. We are truly multinational this evening with Portugal and Canada. How fantastic. Now look, before we go into our last bit of music, I did promise a little bit of an update because it is the yes, don't you age well, brother, is what I was going to say. A little bit of an update on the channel because it is the end of the year. So just if you will indulge me, this is what's been happening during the past year. We used to do this every month, but that got a bit boring, really. But there are 8 headlines to give you about what has happened on YouTube Gigi, the Piano Man, in the past 12 months. It seemed an appropriate time to do it because everyone does it. So the channel was officially 8 years old on Christmas Eve. I know, doesn't time fly? So that's the first factoid. During 2024, we have had 109 new subscribers, which is very, very lovely to know that the music just goes everywhere and people enjoy it. We now have, as of today, 624. Well, I hope it's still 624. It does tend to go up and down a little bit, but that, again, is wonderful news. We've done 79 live streams, including today's, and apologies about that unnecessary capitalisation on including, but there we go. We have uploaded 70 new videos during 2024 as well. I believe there are something like 560 videos on my channel now. The most watched of 24 was All the Things You Are, which has been viewed 542 times, which is lovely, with Jerome Kern's song. Thunderbirds A Go, which is an old one, got the most new views. For some reason, it's got an extra 923 views this year. And finally, no surprise, the most popular on my channel was one of the early ones, How Do You Keep the Music Playing, which has received 6,844 views. And it's thanks to all of you for supporting it. I mean, all of you, especially all of you here in the chat room and who watch this live program, because without the support of you lot, especially, and my subscribers, these things wouldn't be happening and I wouldn't be doing it. So, you know, I really have a great time on the channel, and it's so nice that you are able to share it with me, the joy of music together. Thank you very much. I certainly have no intention of stopping. Try stopping me. I am unstoppable. That is what's going to happen. We got one more bit of music. And it probably won't be a surprise what the bit of music is before we say goodnight in our usual way. But this bit of music comes with a caveat to organists, pianists, and everyone everywhere, which is make sure your shoelaces are done up. Watch carefully, especially towards the end. I'll give you a bit of a clue when it's about to happen, and you will then hear what happens if you don't have your shoelaces done up. Do enjoy our last bit of music, and then we will say goodnight in our usual way. So there you go. That's what happens when you don't do up your shoelaces. And my horrified face was not only the horrific sound that came out, but to cover up the horrific possible things that were coming out of my mouth at the time. And I think on that note, we will need to end this evening's A Date Within a Set programme 232, the very last one of 2024. Thank you so much for being here with us, truly live. And whatever you are doing for New Year, I do wish you all the very best, not only for this week and for New Year, but the whole of 2025. And I look forward to the great pleasure of playing for you again next Sunday, next year. Thank you so much for listening. All the very best and good night.